Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to the 53rd edition of the Take One podcast. And so, I have a few things that I'm going to be talking about on this episode. I know this is a little bit late. It's a couple things that's going to be dropping late on my channel that should have dropped last week, but as you know, I have a lot going on in my life. So, as it may be, I'm going to do a Triple W podcast this week. I want to try to do more, but I'll be happy with doing one. But it's going to be a combined effort of what would have been last week's episode mixed with this week's episode. So that will be dropping later on this week. I will be covering, predictions for this upcoming pay-per-view for Survivor Series and all that stuff, and covering, the usual Raw and SmackDown, as well as I have a spoiler cast for The Gifted from last week going to be dropping this week, as well as this week's dropping as well. And of course, right now should be The Walking Dead spoiler cast for episode, I believe, 4. Yeah, episode 4. And I believe The Gifted, the one that dropped last week, should be up right now. I don't know. As I'm recording this, I don't know when I'm going to be dropping all of this stuff. So it is what it is. But I am going to be trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. There's still some movie reviews I need to put out of newer movies. So look out. That will be dropping later on this week. And yeah, that's kind of all I really have to cover. But let's get on to the subjects at hand. So I'm going to start off with talking about some stuff that had dropped last week that I'm going to get to, of course, and then I'm going to get to the box office results, and then I'm going to talk about actually, I'm going to do that a little bit differently. Usually I'll give you the results and then I'll give you my predictions. So towards the end, I'm going to give you the results of this past weekend. Then I'm going to talk about some of the movies that's coming out this week. And then I'm going to give you my predictions, and I'm going to do it in that order. But as of right now, let's talk about one of the big stories that dropped last week, I believe. Yeah, it dropped last week. And it was a big thing throughout the superhero fan community. If you're a big fan of like the Marvel products, whether it be Fox or Disney or whatever with Marvel, the MCU. So we have this thing of this news piece that came out that Disney was talking with Fox, talking with Fox for the buyout of 21st Century Fox. Now I don't know if it's every single property that Fox owns, but I know that it is going to be a lot of the IPs that they have, like James Bond, I believe, Alien, and of course, the Marvel IPs that they have that, they ended up getting from, they're buying the movie rights from Marvel themselves, and they more than likely been wanting them back, and it's crazy to think that, because I wouldn't know, of course, as well with like a whole bunch of other people, wouldn't think that, as far as the movies go and just the film division, and not only just the film division, but it's the show, the TV division as well. So, I mean, I didn't think that 21st Century Fox was doing that bad to the point where, they're looking to sell those IPs and stuff like that. And reports came out that they're just going to try to focus on the news aspect, the sports aspect of it. So when it comes to that, they're just going to leave it alone. Like I said before, I'm not entirely sure if it's all of the IPs that they have, like movie and television alike, or if it's just, majority of them, like 90% of them. And they're still going to be doing it, but they're not going to be doing as much as they are right now. And one of the potential buyers that came out that they are in talks with is Disney. And Disney is just this big conglomerate. Disney is just this big entity. It's huge. I mean, shit, they bought out freaking the movie rights to just the other Marvel properties that isn't attached to Sony or Universal or Fox and stuff like that. And they're pumping out these amazing films every single year, as well as they bought out Pixar. At the time, they wasn't as big as they are now, but still in the same sense, they built that up. And one of the big things that they grabbed besides Marvel was Lucasfilm, which is a big property, a big IP, one of the biggest iconic names that anyone would know. You don't have to know the movie, or you don't have to have seen the movies or be a big fan of them to know Star Wars, to know Luke Skywalker, the name of Darth Vader. You don't have to have watched. You haven't have to have watched these movies in order to know all of that. So Disney is just this big name. So to hear that they're in talks, it kind of, I guess you could say, I don't know, I wouldn't even say it's 50-50. I would say that it'd be a good thing, because as we all know, well, if you don't know, Disney is coming out with their own streaming service next year. They say it should be here like around summertime, August or something, next year. Where they're going to take all of their TV and stuff off the table, and they're going to put it on the streaming and, the movies and stuff like that. So you will have a one-stop shop for Disney, for everything Disney Entertainment and all that stuff. And so, it leaves a question to other things, to other shows and stuff like that, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But if they acquire 21st Century Fox, or just the majority of the IPs that they have, it's like, wow, they're gonna have a lot more going for their streaming service than what we initially thought it would be. And so when you think of properties like Alien or Indiana Jones, like the old ones, I believe that was 21st Century Fox. I may be wrong on that, but just some of the IPs that they got, it opens up their libraries to being way bigger. And so it says a lot, which I'm gonna get to it with the streaming service just a little bit. But the main thing that any fanboy or just fan of like movies, or just these superhero movies, actions, or whatever, if you're a big fan of it, the one thing that stands out is that Disney is in talks with 21st Century Fox. Disney, the company that owns Marvel Studios, that has this big connective universe going on right now, which is the biggest thing in superhero movies. And so for a long time, us as fans been wanting to see, it would be amazing to see the X-Men go against the Avengers and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that would be amazing. So that's one thing, that's one huge thing that stands out with this deal, is that Marvel will be getting back their characters. I think, if anything, that's what Disney is kind of like going for. As far as wanting to add more to the MCU. Now, if you look at the MCU right now, I believe Kevin Feige. Nah, I don't think Kevin Feige. No. Matter of fact, scratch that. I thought I remember something, but it was just something. But when you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole, right now, we necessarily don't need the X-Men. Those are like a group of people, just a lot of people, to where it's like we're already really full in the MCU as of now, and they're still adding people. We have still yet to see a Black Panther movie, even though he's already been added up in there, but still he has basically just been invited, or not invited, but introduced. Spider-Man just got introduced from Civil War, and he just came out with Spider-Man Homecoming. We got Captain Marvel, who movie has yet to come out. And more than likely, they're going to add more people. It's not just going to be sequels that's coming up, but more than likely, they're going to add more characters. They're going to kill some people off in Infinity War. More than likely. I don't know. They probably might have everybody still there. Whatever. But when you look at the list, like literally, if you write down every single name, side character, well, I say even major side character, But even just the side characters that just come pop up every now and then, they are stacked to the teeth. Like they have a lot of people. So when it comes down to it, we don't necessarily need, and I say we, like I'm working at Disney with under Marvel Studios, but we don't really need the X-Men inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But in saying that, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be nice to see the X-Men and other characters that Fox owns inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would love to see that. So it would be kind of interesting to see what's going to happen if they end up doing it, because right now it's just, we've heard reports came out that there are just in talks. Now these talks haven't been happening recently and stuff like that, so but that doesn't mean that it's still not kind of being considered, thrown out in the air, like Marvel or Disney isn't going to come to Fox, or Fox isn't going to come to Disney, and they're not going to broker some type of deal. That's not saying that, because more than likely something is going to happen. But that's just my, I guess you could say, want to happen, what I want to happen. But when it comes down to it, it would be very interesting. I will really be very curious to see what will happen, especially not even just with the regular IPs, but with the Marvel side of it. But as it goes, one of the things that I had referred to earlier, which I'm going to get to, is the other Marvel properties, as far as Netflix and stuff like that. And I kind of got on it. So when it comes to it, it's like when they finally, I know Netflix isn't part of Fox, but when you think of properties like a Punisher or Daredevil and just the blood they spew, it's a lot of gore and stuff like that. But then you have properties that Fox are doing, that Fox is doing, like Deadpool. So it's like kind of like, what's going to happen with Deadpool? He is a hard R type of character. So are they going to just stop it, reinvent him, or are they going to keep it going, or do something with that? And then on top of that, Fox is coming out not only with Deadpool 2 next year, but they're coming out with the New Mutants, which is a horror film. It ain't rated R. I don't think it's PG-13, but still in the same sense, it's still a horror film. And then you have Dark Phoenix, the new X-Men movie that's coming out next year. And so it's like, these are vastly different, have different tones when it comes to it. And Deadpool, of course, way vastly different when it comes to just the tone of it. It has the blood, the cursing, boobs, or whatever they want to try and put up in there. So it's like, what's going to happen to those properties? Well, more specifically, a Deadpool type property. Now, I think this is one way that they might go, since they're going to do a streaming service similar to Netflix, was a one-stop shop for all things Disney. I think they're gonna do it like how like how Netflix has it, where you have one section that's dedicated to kids and stuff, and then you're gonna have one section that's dedicated to adults, and I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna have it separated and divided. I don't know, the name of the streaming service hasn't came out yet, but I think that they're going to have different sections, and I think that if they end up acquiring all this, they're going to have a section for the other IPs that they acquired. Now, what I think that they're going to do, that's kind of like in relating to that, I think they're going to open up, which this is one thing that they can do. I don't know how it's going to happen if they end up doing it. Like I said, it would be very curious. It's like, I think that they might end up bringing out a new film division to carry on certain IPs that Fox owns that are considered to be rated R, or just regular type movies. Then they're gonna come out with another film division that they're gonna have just a Disney banner, but then it's gonna have a Lucasfilm. Then you're gonna have Marvel Studios. Then you're gonna have Pixar, and then you're gonna have this other one that is gonna take IPs like whatever IPs Fox owns, that would be not considered, a Disney type of feel type movie. But as far as it goes with the Deadpool situation, that would fall under Marvel. So it's kind of like it'll be, I don't know, I can see them doing it in a way of like it's Marvel Studios has the banner of Marvel Studios, and then have another the banner of the new division that they come out with. So it'd be like a mixture. So it's not connecting with Marvel Studios, but it does have some type of connection. Or they're just gonna keep a separate Marvel thing. I don't know. It get kind of confusing, So I'm, like I said, it's very curious to what they're going to do. But I think when it boils down to it, one of the things right off the bat, I think they're gonna open up a new film division if this end up going through. Which I do kind of hope, because then they get Fantastic Four, and then we'll get Doctor Doom and Galactus, and we'll get more characters to play around with, and then we'll more than likely get the Fantastic Four done right, which is always a plus. And then I believe when it comes to it, the X-Men, they're going to reboot the X-Men because it has too many continuity issues to just be whatever. But even if they reboot the X-Men and fit them into the MCU, it's kind of, I know I keep using this word, but it's kind of curious to see how they're going to go about bringing them into the MCU. I have a theory that I know this is kind of getting off track, but when you listen to this stuff, this is kind of the stuff that you want to hear, especially if you're listening to Disney, who owns Marvel Studios, is in talks to maybe buy out 21st Century Fox or just the IPs. And then, like I said, one of the things that just pops up in mind is the Marvel division that Fox has. So I'm going to get into this just for a little bit, and then I'm going to go on to other things. One of the other things that I kind of wanted to talk about. But I think what they may end up doing is that mutants hadn't been around. Maybe they have, but then they've been not as many as it would, as they were up in the X-Men movies. But I think what it's going to be is that the X-Men have always been around. Everyone has the mutant gene and all that stuff. And you're going to get the first outbreaks of people becoming mutants. So at first they're going to probably be calling them enhanced and and all this stuff, or whatever name they want to give them. But then they're just going to call them mutants and stuff like that. Or the media is going to call them mutants and all that stuff. And I literally can see this in the making. I mean, of course you're going to hear all about the stuff, but just think of the first trailer. Just think of the first trailer where the Avengers versus X-Men. And let's say the first group of X-Men. Like I said, they're probably going to be around because I still want the apocalypse thing to be really prevalent in the storyline. So let's say Apocalypse was the first mutant, and there was few in between people with powers, but they were very low key. Out of the USA, you probably might have maybe 50 people, maybe at the most, that has the mutant power. But they keep their powers so low key. But it's not as big or whatever. Or they don't really pay attention to it like that. All these people got powers, blah blah. But it's not as big as it is in an X-Men movie. And then let's say you get to around the time that they bring this X-Men versus Avengers movie. And this is just something that I'm just coming up with. But let's just say that they come out with that. Around this time, something happened where it sparks a lot of people, a lot of the mutant genes in people. And so it becomes more noticeable. It becomes a big thing, so where they give them the name mutants and stuff like that, and then it all starts kind of I guess you could say in the present time. And so the first group of mutants, or just first group of mutants, the ones that band together, let's say that Professor X is kind of starting up his stuff, his school and stuff, but then it's not as strong. But the first band, the mutants, are kind of bad. They kind of want to do bad things, and they end up becoming whatever. And Professor X finds himself trying to I guess you could say I know I'm getting away from what I wanted to say, but just real quick. Okay, so yeah, Professor X, he's building up his crew. Maybe he got like 3 or 4 people along with him, and let's say Magneto ends up. He's the one who builds up his brotherhood and these mutants, and so the Avengers are sent in to take down these mutants, and so they go head to head, and Professor X is trying to be the mediator, but they view him as a mutant, as like maybe trying to, he is a part of the brotherhood and stuff, and so it's just a big thing that happens with them. Maybe they can introduce them like that. I don't know, but that's just something that came up in my mind, and it actually seems kind of pretty cool. Like, just like I said, just think of the first trailer of it. you know this strand of people with mutant powers, and they're looking weird and all this stuff, and we gave them the name mutants, and then all this uproar started coming out like, oh, we hate mutants, and it's just, I mean, you could fit a lot of social commentary within a film like that. But in any case, getting back to the subject at hand, I think it would be, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. It could be a good thing, a bad thing with Disney buying out the film division of Fox, film and TV division of Fox. Is one of the bad things you can see is like what's going to happen to a lot of the films. Are they going to stop making them? Are they going to continue them? Are they going to reboot them in a Disney type of style? What's going to happen to the show The Gifted? Is that still going to go on? What's going to happen to Deadpool? Is that still, are they going to continue that? Like, what they're going to do? So when you look at it like that, I mean, you can't look at it from like a negative aspect, or you can look at it as like, maybe they might find ways around it to fit them into under the Disney banner. Create a film division specifically for other films, to where it's just not Disney presents Alien, something like that. It could be Disney presents whatever banner it is, come out with the movie Alien, so it could be something like that. And I think in a sense, Disney, even though it's kid friendly, maybe trying to get away from the whole kiddish aspect. I don't know, but in any case, yeah, I mean, it's exciting to me. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. Hopefully, we find out before the end of this year what's going to happen with this whole deal. Hopefully, they come out with some type of thing to where they get back the Marvel properties. I don't know, but that's just my thought. I'm excited. I hope they do something good. I was going to get to another topic, but since I'm already running real long, and I wasn't really trying to run real long in this on this podcast, so I'm gonna just skip this other thing. I'm gonna try and come back to it in another podcast, on another episode of the podcast. Hopefully, new news hasn't came out about the whole Disney buying out the 21st Century Fox and the film and TV division before this happened, but it's whatever. It has something to do with that, so I'm gonna get to that later. So I'm about to go to this weekend's box office results, and I was close. I was damn near close when it came to guessing the box office and all that good stuff. Now, as you guys know, well, if you don't know, if you don't listen to the podcast, or this is your first time listening to a Take One podcast, I usually do a whole thing of, every week I do this box office results, and I talk about the new movies coming out, and then, I give my predictions and stuff like that. But, yeah, so, and basically, I try to do the top 5, and I try and get them, like, 1 through 5 perfect. And so, yeah, my predictions for this week, or this past weekend, was for Thor Ragnarok to take number 1 spot, then Murder on the Orient Express, Daddy's Home 2, A Bad Mouse Christmas, and then Jigsaw. That was my prediction from last week. I was so damn close. I was so damn close. If I would rearrange 2 of these movies, then I would have got it perfect because over the weekend taking the number one spot, of course, again was Thor Ragnarok within the second week, and it brought in $57 million, and it brings its total uh its gross total to 212 million. And then at the number two spot, which I got wrong, which I thought was going to be the Orient Express, well, Murder on the Orient Express, ended up being Daddy's Home 2, which it makes sense. It's a recognizable property. But yeah, it brings in on this first weekend 29 million. And then you have after that at the number three spot, Murder on the Orient Express, which is not that far after it. So I wasn't really that far off. It wasn't that far after it. And it brings in 28 million. And after that, you have at number four, A Bad Mom's Christmas, bringing in at 11 million. Well, it brings in 11 million to a 39 million total box office. And then at number five, you got Jigsaw bringing in 3 million, rounding up it at the 34 million mark at the box office on a $10 million budget. That's crazy. So yeah, we got Thor Ragnarok, like I said, again at the number one spot. And then we got number two, Daddy's Home 2. Then we got number three, Murder on the Orient Express. Then we got number four, Bad Mom's Christmas. And number five, Jigsaw. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't too far off. My predictions were Daddy's Home at number three and Murder on the Orient Express number two. Yes and no. I have seen these movies. Okay, so Daddy's Home 2, I need to still see that. I seen the first one. I did like the first one. I haven't seen the second one. Murder on the Orient Express, I saw it, but I did the big no-no, which was see a movie when you're tired as hell. So I definitely am going to go see that movie again. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, but I'm going to basically take my time, watch it, and do all this stuff, and come out with my review, which I still have yet to come out with. That's why I haven't came out with a review for that yet. Even though, I still haven't came out with a review for A Bad Mom's Christmas and, Thor Ragnarok. But still in the same sense. That's one of the reasons why I haven't came out with that. It's not because I'm lazy. It's not because, I got a lot of stuff going on. It's just I was tired when I went to go see it. I saw it after working like 2 shifts. And I had to work in 2 shifts. Yeah, it was after working 2 shifts, both of my jobs, and then I went to go see it. I tried to watch as much as I could, but I just couldn't. It wasn't because it was boring. It was just because I was so tired. I stayed up throughout the whole movie, but I kept nodding off in between, like 5-10 seconds there, and yeah. So I'm going to watch it again to get the whole thing of it. But I really thought it was going to do better. Wasn't that far off. It was actually, from what I gathered of the movie, it was actually a pretty good movie. I knew it was a remake. I didn't know how many times it got remade or anything of that nature. I never seen the other ones. I didn't know the outcome. I didn't know anything about the movie besides there was a murder that this detective that was on board, he needed to solve. I did see the outcome, of course. I know what it is. I'm not going to spoil it here. But it was an outcome that was kind of like pretty cool. I liked it. I can't recommend it because I need to see it in its entirety. But in any case, when it comes down to it, I thought it was going to do better. Daddy's Home 2, as I could see, it didn't bring in as much as the first one. It's opening weekend. But I haven't heard anything bad about it. Really, I haven't even seen any reviews on it, or haven't looked up any reviews on it. But I'm going to go see that hopefully maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But in any case, I was not too surprised at the spots that we're in. I was just mad that I didn't get it. But I mean, it's good to see that Jigsaw is still number 5. More than likely, it's going to be pushed out. You got Justice League coming out this weekend. But I mean, I'm going to get on that in a little bit. But I know Thor Ragnarok, this is its last weekend. So say goodbye to that number 1 spot. This is the last weekend Thor Ragnarok is going to be there. Daddy's Home 2. Yeah, of course it's gonna. A Bad Mom's Christmas. That's gonna be. I don't know. Like I'm gonna discuss this. I'm gonna discuss this before I even talk about what's gonna be in place or whatever. Let me talk about the movies that are coming out this week. So we have, I guess you could say, three major movies that are coming out this week. It's not like, it's just one movie, which is on my mind. It's Justice League, but we have three movies that are coming out. Three movies that have potential to be, well, one of them is going to be in the top five, but the other two have potential to be in the top five, which I'm going to get to them. So, like I said, we have Justice League coming out, as well as we have the movie Wonder, or The Wonder, is it? Something like that. But I'm gonna look it up. But and then also you have the movie The Star. And where I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. Justice League is a movie that I really was looking forward to. If you've seen my top 10 most anticipated films, which is almost at the end of the year, so I can just say Justice League was my number one most anticipated film of 2017. Even though how my feelings toward it, as far as I was burnt by BVS and how it was. I was, looking forward to BVS, and I was excited. I was like, yo, this movie gonna be cold. Ended up getting the reviews for it. And then, I went to go see it. I was disappointed. I didn't hate the movie, but I recognized that the movie was not the best. Or it wasn't as good or as great as it should have been. So I guess a lot of that resonated, or just kind of like followed it. And then how I felt about Suicide Squad, I really did not like Suicide Squad. I liked that way less than I like BVS. Suicide Squad was just a terrible movie. I wouldn't even say it was like the worst movie. I wouldn't even say I hate it. It was just a bad movie. It was just horrendous. Wonder Woman, I loved that movie. I loved it. Even coming off of Wonder Woman, you have two bad movies that we're coming off of as well. And BVS is the closest thing because it has three out of the 5 or 6 Justice League members that are going to be in Justice League. I say 6 members be in Justice League. So it was kind of like a pre-Justice League before the Justice League movie. And when it comes down to it, it has more in common. So I'm going to just focus on that real quick. So my whole thing was that, I was burned by BVS. I was sitting there like, I was excited. I got disappointed. So now it's like, damn, the same dude that helmed that is helming this. Even though Joss Whedon came in and did reshoots and rewrites and stuff like that, this movie is still was dealt with by, Zack Snyder. A lot of it wasn't changed enough to where it changed where Joss Whedon could get director credit on the movie. So they just leave me to believe that at least 80% of the movie or 85% of the movie is still Zack Snyder. Or at least I'll say 90% of it is still Zack Snyder. So in the stories, I believe Zack Snyder came up with the story as well, or co-wrote the story. It's just, I don't know, it gets me less excited. And it's crazy because it's like that was my most anticipated film, but I don't know, what can I say? I'm a complex person. But I am really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm trying not to really, really hype myself up to go see it. Hopefully, if I lower my expectations, I'll get surprised. But from the early reactions that I hear is that it's not a great movie. It's not a great movie, but it is a good, fun movie. That's basically what I've gotten from just the tweet reactions and stuff. So that's good enough for me. If I go into this movie loving it, that's all I want. That's all I want. It don't have to be a perfect movie. Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron, was not a perfect movie. It had a lot of flaws that I myself could pick apart and do all this. And I love that movie. I could sit there and watch Avengers Age of Ultron every single day. That movie was freaking phenomenal. And it was fun. I love it. The action, the quips, it was funny and all this stuff. It was everything that I needed it to be. And that's what I need Justice League to be. It don't need to be as fun and as lighthearted as like the Avengers movie or whatever. But as long as it is fun and the characters are good and it has great action and it just flat out entertains me, I'll be happy. And then we have another movie. Then we have the other movie that's coming out, The Star. Star, that's a movie I really don't have any expectations for. I'm gonna take my son, of course. I'm gonna take him to go see that, and we're going to hopefully enjoy it. Hopefully, my son, he gets some enjoyment out of it. That way, I know that I haven't wasted my money. Hopefully, I get some enjoyment out of it. That I'm not just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I kind of want to leave, but I don't want to leave him. Let me just go to sleep. You know, I don't want to be like that. But yeah, this, I don't know. It may be good. Hopefully it's serviceable. Hopefully I leave it like, yeah, you know, it's okay. You know, I didn't hate it. You know, hopefully it's like that. And then the other movie, Wonder, or The Wonder. I don't know. This is a movie that I've been hearing about. Not like, oh, it's a good movie or, you know, stuff like that. But it's been coming up a lot. And I just recently seen the trailer for it. It doesn't seem all that interesting to me. I really don't care too much for it. I really don't. And I don't know. Maybe it may be good. I don't know. It's just I simply just don't care for it. You know, even in certain movies, I'll say like I don't care to see it in theaters, but I might catch it on, you know, VOD, or I might, you know, just rent it or something like that. This is a movie where I really don't even care to like do that. But, you know, that's just my taste, you know, whatever. So let's get into this weekend's box office predictions now that we got those movies out the way. So, man. Okay, let me look at the top 5. I haven't even written it down. God dang it. But, I think Justice League is going to take number 1 spot. And we gotta have Thor 3, of course, is number freaking 2. After that, I don't know. Because Wonder, I don't know too much about it. Because like it's been movies where I would think that like it's not gonna be in the top 5 and end up being in the top 5. Well, I'm like, damn, like really? That movie was in the top 5? So I don't know. Wonder and The Star have potential. The Star, what I've heard from it lately, I think I've seen something on Rotten Tomatoes where it has a low score. It was something, I was looking it up, and it has a low score. So maybe that might not even be up in the top 5, but I'm going to just go on a whim. And I'm just going to push everything down. I'm going to leave The Star out because I don't know if a lot of kids really want to go see that. Which my better half is kind of like telling me. But you know what? This is what I'm going to do. So we're going to have Justice League at number 1. We're going to have Thor 3 at number 2. Yeah. And then basically, yeah, I'm going to be pushing everything down. But at the same time, I'm going to replace what is... God damn it. Yeah, I'm just going to push everything down because, I mean, certain of these movies... I don't know about the Wonder and The Star. I don't think that those are going to be in the top 5. So yeah, I'm just going to push everything down. So we're going to have Justice League as number 1. We're going to have Thor Ragnarok number 2. Daddy's Home number 3. Murder on the Orient Express number 4. And we're going to have Bad Moms as number 5. So I'm just going to do that. I think that The Star and Wonder isn't going to be up in the top 5. They're probably going to be at number 6, 7. Within the top 10 is my guess. Is it going to be in the top 10? So yeah, that's my guess. Justice League number 1, Thor 3 number 2, Daddy's Home number 2, number 3. Wow, that's kind of confusing. Murder on the Orient Express number 4, and The Bad Moms Christmas rounding up the top 5. And I think that's basically it. That's what's gonna happen. Fingers crossed that I get it perfect, but yeah, I don't think Star and Wonder is gonna make it in the top 5. So yeah, those are my predictions, and that wraps up this episode of the Take One Podcast, episode 53. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening and joining me on this episode. Hopefully, before the end of this year, I can have 100 episodes of the Take One Podcast. Hopefully. I don't know. It's possible because I could do like 15 of these a week. I really don't know. I mean, I could just be in the mood to talk about whatever the hell, and I could just put out like 15 of these in the week, which I'm not gonna do because there's gonna be a lot, and really don't have a lot to talk about like that. But in any case, yeah. So catch out. Like, if you haven't yet, hit the like button, the thumbs up, and go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified for any and everything that will appear on my channel. And check out everything else. You know, everything is down in the description below between SPOILERCASTS, podcasts, movie reviews, show reviews, mini reviews, whatever I have on my channel is down there in the description below. And yeah, I think that's about it. And check out everything, all the recent stuff that I have put up, and all the stuff that I'm going to be putting up this week. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.